Muy bien, pues muchísimas gracias, Chema. Súper interesante como siempre aprender contigo, esta vez sobre APIs y sobre drones. Y también ver que sí, que tenías el pelo largo, también cuando eras pequeño. Bueno, muchísimas gracias a todos. Vamos a cambiar ahora al inglés. Quien necesite ayuda para la traducción, fuera hay unos auriculares que os va a permitir seguir esta sesión en inglés, ¿vale? So I will switch to English now. My name is Andrea Iriondo. I am Senior Partner Development in the ISVs and Startups area in Microsoft España, in Microsoft Spain. I have the pleasure to manage the 3 incredible startups that are going to join us right now in the next roundtable. So for this roundtable, we will discuss about impact, about innovation, and about how these companies are using AI to make a significant impact in society. For this session, we are going to count with the presence of Jean-Philippe Courtois. I believe that most of you know that Jean-Philippe is a very relevant person in our company. He was in the plenary session before, and Caroline, I think, presented him very, very, very well. But he will be the moderator. If we can change to the next slide, please. Podemos pasar a la siguiente. So here the roundtable, AI for Social and Environmental Innovation. As I was saying, Jean-Philippe Courtois will be the moderator. He's our Executive Vice President and President of National Transformation Partnerships at Microsoft Corporation. He's been in Microsoft for more than 40 years, as Carolina was saying previously, and we already saw in the plenary session how he's transforming societies through AI and through a more sustainable environment. So I have the pleasure to present him to this session, so welcome here to the roundtable as moderator.
Thank you, muchas gracias. Yes, very, very excited to be back. I was delivering a keynote this morning, and I'm going to have my panelists joining me. Yeah. Please give a warm round of applause to Anna, who is the co-CEO and co-founder of Founders. Raise your hand. Yeah, we have also Angel Berish-Bayari, who is founder and CEO of Quibbin. Okay. And we also have, of course, Natalia Adler, who is the Chief Strategy Officer Climate of Mitiga. Please take a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, as discussed before, I've got the privilege in my capacity at Microsoft in the executive leadership team to do fun stuff. And one of the fun stuff I'm doing has been to shape and create a very broad community of what I'm calling really social change makers, environmental change makers as well, impact entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs. In other words, it's about going after some of the most amazing social entrepreneurs of the world and tech impact startups that are using the power of technology to really respond to the problems of the people on the planet. So in essence, to address the needs of social issues, environmental issues, but any of the issues across the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It could go all the way from hunger to skills, developing human capital, to poverty, to climate change, to diversity, and so on and so forth. So it's very exciting because I think we have a wonderful panel right here in Spain of such entrepreneurs, and I'm going to start with each one of them so that it can give you a sense of why they do what they do. That's always a question that has to impact entrepreneurs. There's always a why, very important, and also presenting their company. Let me start just with a few words, starting with Anna. So Founders, basically help improve employability in society with AI, and we discuss a lot in this, obviously, AI moment and envision the need in Spain, in any country of the world, to really democratize access to AI skills. And my understanding, and I know yet a little bit of your company, not enough, Anna, that's the mission of your company, and you want to enable a lot of people in the economy and society to truly have access to AI skills. So tell us more, Anna, about your great company and the way you're putting the people at the center of the equation, because in the day it's all about human potential, And again, why you created or co-founded Founders and the mission you have in life. That's a big start.
Yeah. Okay, so Founders is an AI school, and we are a proud Microsoft Worldwide Learning partner today. Together with Microsoft, we help people, professionals, and organizations learn and master the skills they need to thrive in the AI era. To do so, we create online learning programs in collaboration with Microsoft, where AI experts from around the world share their knowledge through short video lessons on topics such as AI and business, AI and innovation, in healthcare, finance, and also responsible AI.
Yeah.
So our purpose is to amplify human potential through AI and education, and to make sure that no one is left behind in the AI era. So far, we've trained around 12,000 people in AI with our programs that are from 20 different countries. And what makes us unique beyond the quality of our programs is the student-centric learning ecosystem that we have created, as you said, the person in the center. We have developed a collaborative learning platform where students collaborate and learn from each other. And it is one of our goals with this collaboration platform is to amplify human interaction online and to improve the overall learning experience. And to do so, this platform is based on two pillars. One is peer-to-peer collaboration, and the other one is AI personalization. So we have created a virtual campus that it's so cool. I'll show you in a few seconds. It is great because it's a lovely place to meet people, to meet with other students, debate, participate in live master classes and events.
So really sense of community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And a sense of belonging. Because one of the problems of online learning is that you learn online and you're just watching videos from your home. Yeah. And
not that exciting.
Yeah, it's hard to qualify that as real learning, right? So we want to change that. And on the other hand, we have developed an AI companion that it's called Z. And this AI customizes learning experience and adapts it to each student's needs. And it also is useful to identify each one's strengths and areas of improvement and give custom support and feedback. So if we put the video, I'll show you how it works.
Yeah, let's roll the video.
So when you log in our platform, the first thing that you see are the pre-recorded video lessons. This is Michaela Barberono. She is teaching responsible AI from Redmond, Microsoft headquarters. So at any time during the lesson, you can write some notes in the notes section, and you can also talk to the AI companion. The cool thing is that this AI is nurtured with the professor's knowledge. So when you ask a question, the AI will answer with that specific knowledge. By the end of of each model, you are asked to submit an assignment. And to do so, you have to record yourself, then post it and share it with the rest of the community so that you are proving that you are really learning. And then before you move on in the program, you have to review other peers' assignments. And you have to give them constructive feedback to help them learn. So this is the campus I was telling you about, and we've put a lot of effort in creating something that is really meaningful and that helps people learn from and with each other. And then we have this separate room called Z Room, where you can have deeper conversation with the AI. And the good thing about Z is that, yes, of course, it can summarize a topic, it can create custom tests, but the good thing about it is that it really asks you the right question. So it's not only about answering, but about creating the right question and encouraging critical thinking, especially in the AI era, because we believe that AIs in this AI age should not only answer questions, but really create and ask you the key questions to help you really learn and empower, as I said, critical thinking and help each one of us amplify our own and natural human potential.
I love it. I would have so many questions later on to come up because I'm passionate by education, and I love to discuss more this concept of this AI tutor, the learning experience, and also the teaching experience on the other side of the equation. So more to come. Let's go to you now, Angel. You're the founder and CEO of Quibim. Quibim has been already having a wonderful positive impact to society on healthcare by using and building a platform that provides advanced medical imaging analysis using AI to transform radiological data into real insight diagnostics so that you can help professionals, medical professionals to make decisions. So tell us more about your company and why and how you created that company.
Yeah, I think if I ask in the room how many of us have had an X-ray or an MR exam, I mean, many of us, for sure. And one of the problems we have today as patients is that diseases are detected too late.
Yep.
That's number one. Also, we have a more or less stable number of radiologists worldwide, whereas the machines are generating more and more images. So it's becoming more and more difficult to interpret all those images in a systematic way. And then even more, imaging is at every single step right now of the disease. So whenever you want to detect pathology, you will have imaging, treatment response evaluation, and precisely in treatment response, biopharma companies are investing a lot also in measuring how the new treatments, new immunotherapies are producing changes in the tumors, and if the tumors are changing the shape, changing structures, all of this needs to be systematically analyzed, stored, processed, and mined. And AI is a must for that. So I don't know if we can put the video that we prepared.
Let's roll the video.
That's what we call the transforming imaging data into these actionable predictions. This is a radiologist doing the work with some assistants on the screen. And we have developed a platform that basically can receive tons of imaging data coming from hospitals, from biopharma, and converts all these data into features that are linked to patient outcomes. I don't know if it can be seen in the screen. Okay, perfect, because I saw on the screen on the left another image. So here we can see the platform where a biopharma company might have loaded thousands of patients, and we can basically apply our AI algorithms. We also have non-imaging data like genomics and clinical features. The platform converts all those images into features, features that can be mined, and these are quantitative. For example, we can have a deep learning convolutional neural network. We extract the deep features, and we see correlations with what will happen to patients. But how we link this research, this is just data, right? We are pooling data, and we want to basically be able to diagnose a single patient. So for that, we are a medical device manufacturer, so we need regulatory clearance, FDA, CE mark,
the compliance stuff,
For that, we need to manufacture the algorithms with harmonizing the data, detecting organs and detecting lesions. For all of that, we are using AI, Gen AI for the data harmonization, segmentation algorithms with convolutional neural networks, and finally, to link those features with outcomes like survival or like treatment response in patients. So this is one of our products that we have already with FDA clearance, and it's in clinical routine. That's for prostate cancer detection. Right now, 1 in 8 men will have prostate cancer in their lifetime. This is a very important burden worldwide. And there is a need for automatically detect lesions in the human body. We also have tools for brain, and this is an example of how these tools work. Actually, these work fully automated, so the doctors can load the intermediate results when they want. This is an example of a patient where we can see on the left side a radiologist labeling as negative a prostate, but when we apply the algorithm, we have positive, clinically significant cancer on the anterior zone of the prostate. And then the biopsy, that's our ground truth. We train this model with thousands and thousands of patients and the biopsies. So many times we are helping radiologists to spot what will be positive in a biopsy, right? So they can improve. So that's our ambition. What we would like to become is basically we would like imaging to be implemented across the entire lifespan, because we think that we have to be able to create digital twins, right? And we should be creating and leading the digital twins of the human body. Human body is like a perfect engineering system, and we need to take care of. Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's a huge, bold, ambitious goal. I love it. It's a big vision. We'll come back to that as well to understand the steps of developing the company. So thanks, Angel. Let me go to Natalia. I know, Natalia, you've been part of this company called Mitiga, which is an ESG-focused company that has been building a pretty advanced platform to truly not to mitigate, but actually calculate, simulate climate change risk, right? And what it means to the economy, to the physical assets owned by businesses, governments, countries, and so on and so forth. And you've been applying both machine learning, but also high-performance computing to make all those analyses, which consist of millions, of course, of store data points. So There's a lot going on, of course, climate change in the world, no need to talk about that. There's a lot happening as well in terms of regulation, right? In Europe, CSRD coming, so many companies, 50,000 more, are expected to report. But I think in your case, it's going beyond reporting, right? To get insights and predict and take actions based on that. So would you tell us more about the company, the promise, and the why, again, you create this company?
Certainly. So thank you so much for having me. I think when we talk about climate change, there is one statistic that I always like to start with. It's from the UN. In the next 6 years, there's going to be a 40% increase in the number of natural disasters. That's alarming.
40%.
40%. I was in Madrid last Friday, where the temperature was 34 degrees. I came back today, the low was 13. I mean, you don't have to even look into the future. We're feeling this every single day. So our mission as Mitiga, being a spin-off of Spain's National Supercomputing Center, is to make the world a little bit more resilient towards these climate physical risks. That's not a small feat. That's very difficult because we are in the business of actually predicting the future.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. But fear you not, we have a platform, and maybe you can show the video. We have a platform called EarthScan that allows anybody to upload their assets. And an asset can be a building, can be your house, can be a plot of land, can be a data center. And you upload all of that in there, and those are these little dots that you see on the map. And immediately, what EarthScan does is translate the complexity of climate science, not easy stuff, guys, in a very easy to understand A to F rating system, so that at a glance, you know, oops, my asset there is not doing so well. And then you can run different kinds of simulations through different kinds of climate scenarios. You can go all the way to the future, all the way to the end of the century. You can even go back in time. I told you, we are predicting the future here. So, and then you have tons of analytics that not only predicts the future, but quantifies what is the exposure of your asset to many different climate risks. And what companies can do with that? Many different things. You can plan the next location of where do you make an investment, where you build a factory, where you build a data center. You can actually manage your risk. If you have assets that are ranking F, what do you do about that? And then also you can report and comply to regulations, because what regulations are doing right now is making it mandatory for companies with 500 employees or more to really disclose this, their risks to that. So that's why we are here.
No, it's pretty amazing and also fascinating and frightening as well. I wanted to follow up just on one question with you, Natalia. As you talk about this rating, right? We are used to some rating system. As an example, you get a credit scoring of countries, right? Or companies as well. Tell us more about the way it's going to go with businesses' resiliency. Do you see that happening as well in terms of the importance of such a rating, and what kind of role would Mitiga play there, if any?
Well, you know, I always liked school, so I always will go for the A, not the F. And so if I see an asset with an F, I would get worried. So we try to really simplify our rating systems to help people understand what this really means for them. And what it really means is that when you look at some of the scoring, it means that your asset exposure level has reached a very unsafe climate threshold. What you do with that is really up to the company. We really like to work within the constraints of a company, understanding what their risk of tolerance are. But at least you have a standardized approach that can be compared from Microsoft's the way that they're reporting to any other company. So it's not random. Reaching this level of standardization is very, very difficult. We're talking about any asset anywhere in the world with the same standardized approach to analyzing their assets. Doesn't matter where, well, actually, we don't do the polls, no offense to the polls, but anywhere in the world, and that can be done in just a matter of seconds.
Wow. I'll come back with some more questions. Yeah, I'd like to go back to you, Angel. I mean, you got us thinking about this digital twin of our body. How far are we from that in terms of, well, number one, I guess, enabling medical professionals, number one, right? I mean, specialists in oncology, immunology.
Yeah.
I think you're also in hematology, if I understand well, even neurosciences, which is something I love to talk about as well. How much are we far from achieving that in terms of enabling those professionals to be more on the driver's seat when it comes to potentially predicting what's going to get wrong with our bodies?
I think we started by trying to create digital twins from specific areas of the body.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have right now digital twins for some, pediatrics cancer, for kidney, for prostate, for brain. But in the end, we have to put all together, right? But imaging has been intrinsically organized by body parts, right? When you go to undergo an exam, you have a knee exam or you have a brain exam. So for that, we need to change the complete healthcare system.
Yeah.
We basically need to scan the whole body of everyone, right? I'm always intrigued on why in aerospace engineering or aerospace industry, you will never apply a sick care model, right? That's very dangerous.
Yeah.
But in humans, we are applying a sick care model. We wait for the symptoms, and then we will have imaging data.
Yes.
I am proposing a complete change of the healthcare system. That's putting imaging first.
Yep.
Let's scan how the human body is. Let's calculate the age of our organs, and then let's have data to build these digital twins. That's a lifetime project for us. But I anticipate that in the next 5 years we will already have pretty robust digital twins of organs. We are working on digital twins of specific organs right now. But then it will take more time to have like whole human.
Of course, yeah. Let me follow up with another question in terms of the core building blocks of technology that you're using today, not in 5 years, with Quibeam, from our Azure cloud, from our AI stack, to achieve what we've been watching on the video already available. If you can get into a little bit more of a technical capabilities discussion to understand the platform capabilities you've been building to enable the scenarios.
Yeah, for that, obviously the biggest bottleneck is training the AI models.
Yes.
Because we are working with voxel data, that's like pixels in 3D and through time sometimes when you do temporal series. So basically we need high performance computing. We could decide to have everything on-prem on our facilities, but we decided to go for scalability, basically 800 GPUs on Azure. Then we also had to build, because one thing is to develop an engineering solution for research, but then another thing is developing a medical device that has to analyze every single patient on Earth. So right now we are receiving prostate exams from everywhere, like Japan, the US, France, wherever. And then we need to organize properly that scalability. For us. Azure Kubernetes Services, AKS, has been fundamental to organize how our AI models are inferenced on every execution, every time a patient arrives.
What about compliance as well? Because I'm told, I've been actually on the board of a large pharma company years ago, there is a lot of compliance when it comes to medical health data. How do you deal with that? And again, with the underlying services?
Yeah, I would split it into what is a medical devices regulation in our case. You must follow ISO 13485. So in the end, you are a medical device, class 2A, class 2B, class 3, depending on the risk factor. We always bet for higher risk because it gives higher value to the company as well. But on the other side, we have all the GDPR, which is the more strict regulation and is the one we use as a benchmark. And in the end, we had to take the decision, should we work with pseudonymized data on the cloud or with real data on the cloud for patients, right? We could work with both because in the end, we do like data processor agreement with every single hospital. But in the end, we decided to work with pseudonymized data. So we had to develop some on-prem connector gateway to to pseudonymize patients, receive hash and then analyze in that way.
No, super interesting. Let's move back to people, although it's all about people as well, to be clear. But in terms of skilling, education with you, Anna, and founders, Yeah, I love you to dig down a little bit more again on this AI maybe stack that you are using as a company today, because we saw some intriguing videos on one end of a kind of a tutor. You know, I don't know if many of you have seen or not, have watched or not this video, which has been viral from Sal Khan. I'm sure you did, because that's your core business. Sal Khan, as you know, is the founder of the Khan Academy, which is largest online learning academy in the world for kids and K-12 and more. And he did a video recently with his son, who I think is 12 years old, to actually use the latest model underlying by the Azure AI stack and ChatGPT 4o to have actually AI tutor with his son. There are the three of them on the video, actually. Of course, AI is a voice, but he's there. And his son was supposed to resolve a trigonometric problem, calculating hypotenuse, right? Mm-hmm. And Sal, the father, was coaching the tutor, saying, "You should not give my son the response. You should give him some nudges, some encouragement, so that he can learn more." And then you see the dialogue between the son and the AI tutor, where indeed he's going to get to the solution after a lot of struggles, but by himself. So anyway, I wanted to have that long intro to say, what about founders? Should we expect this kind of nice tutor giving us nudge of encouragement?
Yes, that's what our AIZ is all about. It's all about really teaching you how to learn. And if I give you the answer, then you're not learning. So it's the same as what we were talking before. If I just watch a video, that doesn't mean that I'm learning. I need to apply what I'm learning. Yep. So yeah, we have the same Socratic approach that Falcon talks about to really make sure that you are learning. But also, the AI is another tool, because we believe that the real interaction with humans is what really makes you learn. And at the end, the final outcome and the real learning is when you interact with other humans and AI plus human as well.
Yes. Tell us more as well about the role of the community, of the cohort. I don't know if you've got a number of people in a virtual cohort. Mm-hmm. And are they interacting real time together? And are they being tasked as well to do this peer-to-peer writing, which I took a note on, which I found interesting? How does it work?
It's asynchronous. So the good thing about Founders is that it's kind of hybrid, because we have these pre-recorded lessons, but then we also host live events and master classes, and we have these meetups every week where just, if you're online and you're available, you just log in and you just share and talk with other students. So it's kind of the combination of it. So the collaboration part is key, as I said before, because it's not only that we work with small cohorts, we also are learning from the interest, and we are creating a profile on each student, so we know who to match you with to increase this learning experience. And the collaboration is all about with the feedback, and also just gather around the virtual campus. So we try to bring this physical experience that you have when you go to a normal university. Yes. So we try to bring that online. So you just can be there and talk, and maybe you meet your next partner, your next venture, or the love of your life.
So what has been the best, in a way, success stories you've witnessed with people in terms of achieving, right, some skills levels, in terms of probably getting a job? Because at the end of the day, it's about employability, I think. Yeah. So any story you'd like to share?
Yes, because we're both B2B and B2C. Yep. So on the consumer side, we've met with some of our students that decided to quit their jobs because they felt stuck there, and that they needed to upskill to pursue their ambitions and to grow professionally, and they decided to quit. They took our AI and innovation program, and now they are leading a department on AI and innovation in another company. So when you see these kind of stories behind the people, these really, it's kind of corny, but it really fills my heart to see that there's a real impact on people. And on the B2B side, we've recently partnered with one of the top energy companies in Spain, and we've been training 200 key leaders in that company on responsible AI leadership. And it's pretty cool because they have learned to use and deploy AI responsibly, but they've also learned and shared use cases, real use cases using AI and Copilot in their company with the rest of the team. So it's been really great.
Oh, it's super to see the way you are connecting the people skills, the company's growing skills as well needed for AI in the AI world.
Yeah.
Let's go back to you, Natalia, to explore more again the kind of the AI capabilities you built as a company. A little bit like discussion we had with Angel. Can you tell us more about the underlying architecture, the building blocks of what Mitiga is all about?
Of course. So for us, it starts with climate models. There are many global climate models out there,
yes.
but they are very high, low resolutions, 500-kilometer resolutions. With that, you probably cannot do any kind of mitigation action because of that.
Yep.
So our first job is to downscale those global models and regional models to 25-kilometer resolutions for the entire Earth. On top of that, otherwise you would have information that would be very scattered around and not standardized, as I mentioned before. We also combine all this climate science with statistical science. And I think here is where AI can also play a very big role. By creating this statistical framework that really divides the globe in different kinds of grids, we can see the world in a more unified way and a more comparable way. So combining the best of climate science, the best of statistical science, with HPC underneath, pushing that in an efficient and comparable manner that also can scale, is very important for us to correct any biases that some of these models inherently would have, but also to convey to our customers that these models are a representation of the truth, but they are not the truth. That's what our CEO always says. And I'm just repeating him right now, but it's true. So we always convey our uncertainty for any kind of risk scores that we give. So our clients can be more assured that if I'm going to take an information about you're predicting my future, I better know if you're doing the right way.
I got it. So given all the tons of data you have, right, and you've been mapping the world, or most of the world, don't know exactly the level of depth you have, what is the most kind of frightening view you had of those data, either in terms of countries, industries, whatever the way you slice the data, because there's so many angles I guess you can take. What is it, not to scare us, or in terms of risk, right, to think about as an economy, as a society, what would you share with us?
Last week, I was invited to meet the king and here in Spain, and that was quite an honor. And before we went there, we prepared a risk analysis of the palace.
Wow.
And I felt like I needed to tell him that the palace got a letter F in terms of climate projection. So it was kind of embarrassed because you have to say these things, but it's very real. We're talking about real.
So why the F? Actually, can you give us some more colors?
Okay, I'm not from Spain, so I didn't know where the palace was. And when I saw the F and it said the biggest risk was wildfire, and I'm thinking that the palace is going to be here in Madrid, and I'm like, I think this is wrong. But the Palacio de Zarzuela is really surrounded by a lot of forestries, and it's quite dry. So on the way there, I was like, oh, you're right. But I think whenever you have to communicate the low score in terms of resilience, because that's what this is about, meaning that it's not that your asset is bad, it's that it's not resilient enough. So that gives clients an opportunity to turn things around. What do I do with this information?
Exactly.
And even though we are not in the business of teaching them how to get to that climate science, we are in the business of walking this resilient journey with the clients, because it's a journey. It's not going to be a sprint, it's a marathon. And I think trying to help them understand what can I do with this information is something that we're very proud of communicating.
So I'm not going to ask you to disclose what is the emergency plan for the King of Spain to take care of his residents, because
that's for the second audience.
Secret, confidential, which we'll not disclose, but must be quite incredible discussions to have. I'd like to have a little bit of discussion with the three of you, because in many ways we talked about health, or bodies, or health, or future. We talk about people, skills, future as well of jobs and work and employment. Just talk about resiliency of economies. there's a common theme, which is what we call, as you know, across the industry and governments, responsible AI. And there's a number of ways to think about responsible AI. But I don't want to get into a big kind of wordy discussion on what is the framework, da-da-da. I'd love to hear you talking about what does it mean for your platform? What does it mean for your company? What does it mean in terms of the way you train your models, the way you design and develop your AI platform to make sense of responsible AI day by day, I guess, because it's a moving target. I want to start with you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I realized the most that you know, we were really working on responsible AI was when we started using a methodology that you know, I can disclose, have no problem, that we are using for harmonizing all the image quality. So we got images from Siemens, Philips, Canon, and we have to bring all of them to the same quality. We decided to use cycle guns for some of the parts of the algorithm, and basically under kind of very much controlled scenario, right? Trying to avoid any kind of hallucination, so we can monitor when we have like frequency changes, because we work on the frequency domain. But you know, more or less at the same time, there was a paper on using cycle guns to introduce tumors in CT scans, right? And that's already frightening, because this means we are you know, ahead of new ways of attack, even to a healthcare system, to a hospital, when you want to put an opponent, you know, under a compromised situation in a healthcare, like, you know, under chemotherapy or whatever. So, you know, I realized, okay, we need to keep insisting more and more on the use of AI for the good, and making sure that all the algorithms that we are developing are for the improvement of healthcare. Sometimes we have some opposition to change also. Like there are communities of doctors saying that AI might introduce more burden to the healthcare system. So we also need to constantly prove what is the benefit, basically. You know, of course, we will help detect lesions. We will avoid unnecessary procedures as well.
I'd love to go to you, Anna, and I want to call out the fact that your company has done something pretty special. You've been setting up what you've called, I think, the Unstoppable Humans initiative, which is a fund of 1 million euros to enable people, I think, to learn AI. And to me, that connects pretty well with responsible AI as well in many ways. So would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so this is a fund that we've created because one of the goals that we had when we founded Founders was to bridge the gap between traditional education, like high quality and world-class education, which means that you go to a top business school, you have great professors, great knowledge, you meet great people, but it costs a lot of money. And on the other hand, you have traditional online learning platforms where, as I said, you just watch videos. It's passive learning. There's no interaction with other peers. So we wanted to bridge this gap, and there were two ways of doing that. One was to create this collaborative learning platform, embracing connection, etc. And the other one was reducing the cost of this kind of education. So we have to lower from $40,000 or $50,000 to less than $1,000, and we did. But still, for a lot of people, 700 euros or dollars can be a lot of money. So we decided to create this fund because, as I said previously, our purpose is that no one is left behind in this AI era. So we have to do as we say, right? So we created the fund, and one cool thing about it is the non-question asked policy. So when you ask for a scholarship, one of the toughest parts is that you have to prove that you're poor, that you deserve that, right? And if it isn't hard enough to be in that kind of unprivileged situation, having to prove that, it's even harder. So we say, okay, no questions asked, you need it, we trust you, we'll give you the scholarship. And one of the initiatives of this fund is the Unstoppable Women. It is an initiative that we launched in March 8th, on International Women's Day. And we said that we announced that they were giving 100 full scholarships to train AI with our programs. And in 48 hours, we got more than 700 applications. So we had to increase that, and we gave 200 full covered scholarships, and then the rest were 50%. But still, we'll try to help people just to learn AI and not be left behind.
Wonderful, thank you. So Natalia, what does it mean to be responsible on climate risk assessment when you are not guaranteeing any results, you said, right?
Well, let's see what the
Which I
king
understand
says.
why, but I'm not teasing you. I understand the risk level. Yes.
I think I've mentioned, I will say two things. One
Yep.
I already mentioned, which is it's transparency, communicating the uncertainty of your models. I think that's
Yep.
very important, and not just communicating, quantifying. And we are one of the very few companies that does that. The second one, and if I may be blunt, Jean-Philippe,
Yes.
is BS science. We have seen quite a lot of that.
Oh, yes.
And unfortunately, there's no regulatory body that looks at all of the science and says,
Yes.
yours is good and yours is bad. I think we needed to be responsible as companies to the things that we put it out there. When we don't know, and we say it. And I think for us at Mitiga, this is a value that we hold very close to our hearts.
Well, thank you so much. My very last, very fast question to each one of you, very fast, is really about the audience as well. I guess I understand we have a number of ISV startup companies in our room who are already building some exciting models on AI and the cloud, or maybe not yet. All of you have been involved with our Microsoft teams here in Spain or globally with our startup program, or what we call entrepreneurship for positive impact. Some of you are joining our accelerator now as we talk, which is wonderful. Would you mind telling for each one of you weekly what has been the biggest benefit of working together? What did you get the most in this partnership working with Microsoft? Let's start with you.
On our side, we started working with Microsoft almost a year ago.
Yeah.
It's all been very easy. So one of the good things that has Microsoft is that you have treated us as equals from day one, which is something very unusual when you're a startup and you knock on the doors of many big corporations.
Yep.
So that has been really helpful. And when proof of that is that when we had to draw the legal agreement, the team said, hey, do you want to do it? And we were like, oh, but we're a startup. You know, like your lawyer team is probably 3 times just the one in Spain bigger than us.
Probably 50 times more, but anyway, yes.
Yeah, so we actually prepared the draft. There were a lot of comments, of course. But this kind of trust and empowerment has been very useful for us, and it's helped us consolidate our position in Spain as leaders in education and in AI.
Super. Angel?
Yeah, it's been throughout all the journey, right? When I started, of course, I was deeply into computer vision, a researcher.
Yeah.
And then I remember, Microsoft folks told me, hey, if you want to build this on the cloud, just come with us to Madrid. We will train your team. We will do it with you. We'll help you design the platform. Throughout today, right, that we are using also this partnership to even deploy in hospitals, thanks to Nuance, right?
Yes.
So I think it's been an exciting journey together, and the best is yet to come.
Thank you. Dalia?
Well, Mitiga is one of the first companies invested by Microsoft Innovation Fund, and we have been probably in all the programs that Microsoft has. Don't ask me to name them. But I think one of the most important things, and I know my CTO is going to kill me for not saying technology, but I think the greatest value of Microsoft is the people. You guys are all so nice. That must be like a requirement when you hire people. And I think one person in particular that I need to give a big shout out to is Alberto Granados. As we like to say at Mitiga, he's our best account manager.
Alberto is Microsoft president in Spain, for those who don't know Alberto, a celebrity in Spain. No, I want to thank you all. I mean, those are 3 wonderful examples of what I was talking about this morning. I think we have all the opportunity to really enable the positive side of innovation and have a positive impact in the world. So please give them a warm round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.